right, we're going to be proving lines parallel today. This is very similar to the lesson we just did. Very, very similar. So if you jived with the last one, this is going to be a walk in the park. So we're going to apply angle relationship theorems to identify parallel lines and find missing values. So corresponding angles are congruent when the lines cut by the transversal are parallel. The converse of this relationship is also true. Converse is one of those tricky words that also means opposite. So it's when we flip that relationship, okay? So, here we go. Oh, go ahead and write that down. Converse, the opposite of this relationship, is also true. Okay. Now, in your notes, instead of giving you this guy every single time, I just put it at the top. You don't need it every single time, but I did put in these that you could review and look up above to see which angles I'm talking about. So now, what I want you to understand with this is that before we told you that if the lines were parallel, then corresponding angles were congruent. Okay? The lines were parallel first. Now we're telling you if these angles, I wish I would have had the highlighter, if the corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Really, we're just talking about what piece of information do we know first? So that's what converse means. It's saying, what piece do we know about? What information are we knowing? So in a proof, the given information might say angle 8 is congruent to angle 6. And they might want you to prove that A is parallel to B. Okay? If that makes any sense. And you're going to be using a reasoning that looks very similar to what was up above. In fact, if you are in your note packet right now, you should be on page 8 or 10 right now. And you scroll up to page, page 8. Those boxed reasons look exactly the same as this, but this part came first. Okay? And in Alex, you're going to have to know which one to choose. Okay? If the angles come first, this needs to come first. Okay? However, if it says given that A is parallel to B, and you need to prove angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, now you're doing it the other way around. So I hope that makes sense. If not, talk to your teacher, talk to me, talk to Mr. Pullman, whichever teacher you have near you by. Okay. So that's the big difference that we're looking at here. Which piece of information do you know, and what does it prove? So if you can prove that you've got even one set of corresponding angles, if you can prove that 7 is congruent to 5, the lines are parallel, and all the other corresponding angles are congruent too. Okay, same with alternate exterior angles. If you can prove that 1 is congruent to 5, the lines are parallel by proving that alternate exterior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Okay? Okay. Then, consecutive interior. If you can prove that consecutive interior angles are supplementary, so if you can prove that 7 and 6 add to 180, then you have just proven that the lines are parallel. There you go. By the way, all your fill in the blanks are the word parallel. Yeah. and alternate interior. If you can prove that your alternate interiors are congruent, then you have proven that the lines are parallel. Okay. Oh, there's no fill in the blanks down here. That's right. I didn't even. Okay. I was looking at the wrong page. Use the given information to determine which lines, if any, are parallel. Okay. This is more tricky. This is kind of a good brain puzzle here. Okay. Look at this. There are two sets of lines. There's a line here, a line here. Remember, there's only ever one transversal and two possible parallel lines. Okay. Since there are 4 lines in this diagram, one is extraneous, or it's not possible. Oop, that's fun. So when you look at this, when it says angles 2 and 8, go find 2 and 8 and find the lines that they're on. So we find angle 2, or line 2. Angle 2 is on A and L, and angle 8 is on B and L. Okay, since they're both on L, L is the transversal, because it touches both angles. Okay. Now, M is not part of this equation at all. You just go ahead and like block it out of your mind. Now, what kind of angle pair are they? They're both in the interior. They're alternate, so they're alternate interior. And A is parallel to B. So I would actually write this. I would say A is parallel to B by alternate interior angles. Yep, and I grabbed something too. I'm going to move that G back. Oh, that was funny. I'm moving that all over the place. Well, we're just going to get rid of that. All right. There we go. A is parallel to B by alternate interior angles. That would be my answer. Okay. I'm going to make that smaller and get her out of the way. There we go. Start over again. So we're going to go a little faster now. 3 and 11. 3 and 11 are here and here. So they both touch line A. So that's my transversal, which means, and they both go through L and M. So I'm going to ignore B. It doesn't touch B at all. So it's L parallel to M, maybe, right? What kind of angle pair are they? They're in the same location, so that would be corresponding, by corresponding. But then I do a quick check. Are corresponding angles supposed to be congruent? Yes. Corresponding angles are supposed to be congruent. That's the right relationship, so we are good to go. Okay. Okay, last one, 12 and 14. 12 and 14. So they are both on this line on M. They don't touch this line at all. So this would be A parallel to B, possibly. By what kind? They're on the exterior, alternate. So they would be alternate exterior angles, and they should be congruent. So this is correct. There we go. That's how I do that. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and try yours right here. Check your A, B, and C that you've got on your practice one, and then come back and I'll show you the answers. Pause me. Okay. So for A, did you get that it wasn't possible? This one was a tricky one. It's because 1 and 15 don't share a transversal. There is no line that they share. Not possible. Okay? For B, N and K are consecutive interior, so they add to 180. And for C, they would be A, L parallel to M by alternate interiors. Okay, let's go to example 2. Find the value of Y so that E is parallel to F. Okay, so if E is parallel to F, they show us this, and they show us that this one is 90 degrees. Okay. Well, if E is parallel to F, and we learned that that perpendicular rule, if the transversal is perpendicular to one line, and if they're going to be parallel, then it has to be perpendicular to the other. If it's going to be parallel, and we learned with perpendicularity that if it's perpendicular at one spot, then all 4 have to be perpendicular. So that means that 4y plus 10 must be equal to 90. Did you remember that? Did you remember that if a line comes through at 90 degrees, that all of them have to be 90? I hope so. Okay. So we're going to subtract our 10. We get 4y equals 80. And then we're going to divide by 4. And we're going to get y equals 20. There we go. There we go. All right. And now you do a check. Find the value of x so that m would be perpendicular to, or parallel to n. And these angles are down in these corners. Go ahead and pause me. And did you find that A, that x equals 1? And for B, did you find that B is 20.4? And for 3, to move in a straight line with maximum efficiency, rowers' oars should be parallel. Refer to the photo at the right. Is it possible to prove that any of the oars are parallel? Justify your answer. So they tell us that this one is 124 and this one is 50. So is it possible to show? Because we know that this one is a straight line. That's 124 and this is 50. Is it possible to show that any of the oars? Well, what they told us, if we look up here, this one comes out at 124, then we would be able to figure out this one because these two must add to 180. So it'd be 180 minus 124 would be 56 degrees in there. And then this one right here would do the same thing. It would be 180 minus 50. So we would be at 130. So we know all 4 of those and none of them match. And on this side, we have no clue. They didn't give us any information. It's not possible to prove that the oars are parallel. All right. Go on down to practice 3, pause me, go do all 4 of them, and then unpause me. Okay. And the answers for A, or not all 4, there's just one answer. The answer is A.